the grid then for Lago Maggiore. So on pole, Obi-Wan, great lap to get him on pole, but Dixon nearly got him off there. Dixon, who's newly promoted from Elite 2. Front row of the grid for him in P3. Robust Hood, good result in the Subarus for him last week. Let's see if he can repeat that form. Walmid, who missed last week for unknown reasons, he's 4th today. Has 91, P5 for Has 91. Good qualifying for him as well. CRT Miggins in the Samsung car, he occupies P6, with Matt Elwood, the South African, in P7. P8 is my teammate GT in the number 79 PlayStation car. Just behind him, on the opposite side of the grid, is Audi Ferry, another driver promoted from Elite 2. P Gib, Gibbo for pole was not activated today, he's 10th. And myself with a shocking qualifying. P11 for me, just was not hooking up anything at all tonight. Diablo, the man from down under, P12 for Diablo, and SurferEv, P13. Let's get this show underway. Welcome then to race number 3. You've seen the grid. Let's see the action from the Elite 2, Elite 1. Sorry, let me get myself all mixed up. Short run down to turn 1 then. Which is 90 degree left, immediately followed by almost 180 degree right. So plenty of moves going to happen down here at the first corner. Who got a good start? Looks like everybody seemed to get away quite well. Obi-Wan is going to lead us into the corner. Miggins is trying to make moves there in the midfield. I just saw he's getting good moves made. We've got Raffo as well. No one's off. Everyone's very clean, so to start. Obi-Wan though making a good getaway on the super soft, super sticky tyre that is on there. Dixon holding down P2 at the minute. Robust in 3rd. Walmid in 4th. Miggins 5th. Raffo in 6th. Has 91 7th as they all stream down to turn 4 for the first time of asking. Matt Elwood in 8th position with P Gib, Audi Ferry, myself, Diablo, SurferEv just goes a little bit deep there into turn 4. That does comprise you an awful lot of pace. The two Samsung cars almost been side by side, them Miggins and Walmid. Looks like they are eventually behaving themselves up, but Raffo going for the move on the Samsung car, got a really good exit. Did GT Raffo cut just a little bit of the sausage there? The game hasn't penalised him for it, so I think he's escaped with that one. GT Raffo then coming down to big banky boy corner for the first time of asking. Everyone seemingly, oh, that was just out of the corner of my eye, noticed P Gib in the Infinity Decals car, got his braking a little bit wrong. Rather than take it that, now that looked worse than it. Let's go and give this some coverage. So I actually saw this happen in the race because I'm only a couple of cars back. Now at this point P Gib's not on the brakes, and you really should be, because he's too late at this point. The cars are doing over 150 mile an hour. So P Gib notices at this point he can't go left because Matt Elwood's there. He can't go right because he's guaranteed to be a crash. So at this point he's going for this gap that is just in front of Matt Elwood. Unfortunately he collects Matt Elwood in the process. Matt does get knocked off course, but P Gib comes out way worse. He's all the way back in. He's digging sandcastles, the poor kid. My poor qualifying meant I'm down at the bye. I kind of master on my own destiny really. I had a really bad qualifying session, just couldn't hook a lap together, and it just meant I was fighting really for every position. Had I been able to escape with Obi-Wan, Dixon and Robust Hood, no doubt my race could have got off to a much better start. But Obi-Wan at the minute started in the lead and finishes lap 1 in the lead. He's getting some pressure by Dixon. Dixon now also on those super soft tyres. Robust Hood's doing the hybrid tyre theory, just using the slightly harder compound on the front. Hoping to give him an option to extend deep into the race if he needs to. Most drivers here, I'd assume we saw some teams practicing the pit stops, so that gave us an idea pre-race that a lot of teams were looking to make stops during the race. I'm trying to make moves through the field. P8 at the minute, just currently tucked up behind Has 91. Go for the move down into T4, but I wasn't close enough, so I backed out of it. Has and Raffo got really slowed up then coming out. I think one of the drivers just got a little bit deep coming out of the corner, so Has 91 with his power wipers on yet again, trying to make a move on my PlayStation compadre. As Raffo does just start to fall back away from the two Samsung drivers a little bit. Miggins and Walmid just starting to make a little bit of a break for it, more towards the top three. Raffo trying to give me some slipstream then, coming down the big banky boy corner. I am side by side with Has 91 and do get that move made on Has for the time being. Has may start coming under pressure now from Audi Ferry. Audi, one of the two drivers promoted from Elite 2. We've got Diablo down here with Matt Elwoods. SurferEv down in P12 at the minute. Surfer before the race had even begun had asked me to host the night's racing because he'd had his COVID jab, so he was too busy uploading his signal to Bill Gates to host, and it was taking up too much bandwidth. So yeah, he wasn't feeling 100% tonight, Surfer, so he asked me to host. Down in P12 at the minute. P-Gib down in 13th. Dixon though challenging Obi-Wan for the lead. Let's just rewind this and just have a see what happens. So Dixon seemed to get a really good exit out the final corner. Good braking then down into the first turn, gets on the power nicely. Gets turn 2 hooked up nicely as well. Nice exit, yeah, nice move there by Dixon to get the lead from Obi-Wan. Robersword starting to fall back a little bit from those two. I get the feeling he's probably just nursing his tyres a little bit more since he's out the slipstream from those guys as well. If they are working together, you saw how powerful that was last week. Of course, fighting early on in a race is just going to end badly for everyone. I've managed to get myself up to 6 for Raffo. Obviously, you saw me mess it up here as well. Just went far too deep and it completely compromised it. But a good little bit of teamwork from Raffo to get me up to 6 initially. But me and Audi Ferry are going to go side by side. We have to give each other the space. I felt Audi just turned in on me there a little bit, I will be brutally honest. But ultimately we could carry on as we were. And Has 91 trying to get in on the fun as well. Has technically ahead, but with Audi Ferry having the inside line, it's going to be relatively easy for the quick fit driver to get that move made on the Red Bull car. And Audi Ferry will now begin his campaign against myself. He's actually going for the move here. You can't see it there, but a little bit of a nudge at the apex. He backed out of it. I think he knew he'd give me a little bit of a nudge there when he backed out. But nice little braking down versus Has 91 to get that move back again. So can't be mad at that. I have, unfortunately though, because of the battle with Audi Ferry, just dropped the slipstream of Raffo. So the problem we've got now is if we continue to fight, any chance of getting up with those guys is all but gone unless you pull off some brave strategy. Obi-Wan back ahead of Dixon. Did that just happen? Have we? No, that happened during that lap. Sorry guys, we missed that one. That's what happens when you've got like 13 cars on field. You are going to miss things from time to time. But Obi-Wan back into P1. Onto lap number 4. So if we're going to see a pit stop, we should see it about the halfway point of the race. The two Samsung cars now are starting to reel in Robus to Hood a little bit, so the top two are pulling away. But Miggins and Walmid working together quite nicely, I think, and just because of that, they are reeling in the cars ahead. So this teamwork from Samsung definitely paying dividends for them. The two PlayStation cars then in 6th and 7th respectively. Raffo has got a little bit of a gap on me. I'm not in the slipstream. My immediate concern is the quick fit car of Audi Ferry behind me. So he's on a faster compounder tyre than me as well. And seems to be doing a better job of managing his tyres than me. For some reason I just can't manage tyres at the minute. So Audi Ferry at the minute with better tyres and better tyre management just seems to be in a prime position and giving me all sorts of headaches at the minute. Has that one dropped back a little bit from that fight, must be said, but not really getting caught by Diablo. Matt Elwood and SurferEv starting to have their own little battle here. Matt Elwood driving in, is it Ajip? Ajip liveried car. It's a nice looking car, but he's actually driving for the Monster team. He's the only one represented in the lobby. I think his teammate I've got promoted or demoted or pulled out of the league. I can't remember which one of the three it is. And then P Gibb, unfortunately for P Gibb, has all but nerfed himself early on in the race, but you never know, he might be able to pick up a result. It's a long race, we've got another 20 odd minutes left, so plenty can happen yet. Dixon's picked himself up a little bit of a penalty, so just a reminder of the rules with penalties. Free to race with them, you can defend your position whilst carrying a penalty, you're just not allowed to overtake anyone with a penalty. So Dixon will probably just get rid of that as and when, but he's not really going to be able to overtake Obi-Wan until he gets rid of it, so that's something to consider. Same for Raffo. That being said, Raffo's a little bit further back from the two Samsung cars who have now caught up with Robbie Hood. I have got immediate attentions from Audi Ferry, who goes for a move down into turn 4. So just managed to get myself tidied up under brakes. Yeah, for some reason I just that wasn't. You know when you're just not in the mind frame of it, that wasn't there tonight. But just managing to keep it ahead of Audi Ferry for the time being. Has 91 has caught us up a little bit. Anything else cracking on? So the two Samsung cars, one of them being Warmid, making a break for P3. He's got the outside line here though. It's a lovely move by Warmid. It's a lovely overtake. So he gets the overspeed on Robus. We'll go on roof cam actually, as we get the 360. Very close up there. Hello Robbie. So he's ahead going into the corner. Nice and tidied up. Yeah, it was just nicely done there by Warmid, just nice and tidy on the brakes. Robus will obviously fight that coming into the S's and into the penultimate corners of the race as well. So 10 minutes in, third of the way through, plenty yet. Potentially can happen. Will Robus maintain his position against the rampaging Samsung cars? He's already lost one to Warmid. Miggins, we know what he's capable of. He seems to really nurse a set of tyres as well. So will he go for the attack down into turn 1? I'm still defending away to Audi Ferry, as you can see behind, and having to pull out defensive. This is costing us a bucket load of time. An absolute ton of time this is costing us this fight, and it was really early in the race as well, so we still had 20 minutes left to go. So yeah, it's just frustrating that we had the pace to be a little bit further up the grid, and we just couldn't execute that because we were too busy fighting. But either way, still quite a good fight, quite enjoyable. It's clean, respectful, so can't really be too mad at that. Has 91 has caught us back up again. Not much doing near the back. Obi-Wan though. Obi-Wan's really pulled that gap now. Dixon's made an error somewhere. His last lap of 206.9. He's got rid of that penalty though, so he might have just been penalty burning. But looking at Dixon's tyres, he's took a lot more out of his tyres than Obi-Wan has. Warmid's in a better position tyre-wise. Dixon is vulnerable here now. Warmid is absolutely on a charge tonight here at Maggiore. He's going to try and send it around the outside. Is he going to be able to do the same move twice? He is as well. What a move by Warmid, twice in a row. Lightning does strike twice, ladies and gentlemen. That is two great moves, two laps, two great moves, 2 positions up to P2. All the 2's on for Warmid as he defends away to Dixon, then going through the S's, coming towards the end of lap 6. Slightly fresher tyres will have helped, but it still takes a lot of gumption to pull a move like that off. Raffo's still carrying a little bit of his penalty. I'm still defending away to Audi Ferry. He's right up close to me, he is. That has enabled Haz to catch up. That's enabled Raffo to get away as well. As Dixon then tries to go for the move back on Warmid. We do have Robusta Hood slides into the pit lane, so does, that was Haz 91, so they're going for the undercut there, and we'll just see how powerful that is. As we see Dixon still trying to get away. Flick through, right, so you lose about 20 seconds in a pit stop, so Robusta Hood comes out in 12th, Haz now in 13th. They've pitted a lap earlier than most will pit, so the key thing for these boys now is going to be getting a rock solid outlap in. So they're on fresh tyres now, everyone else is on worn tyres and going a bit slower, so if they can nail a great outlap, they'll get track position. In theory, they'll get track position when we all come into pit, because we will be going slower this lap than they will, if that makes sense. The undercut of Maggiore here, very powerful because of the tyre deck and the amount of time you do lose on worn tyres. So we'll see how that works out for them. They are 12th and 13th respectively at the minute, but everyone else, if they're going to pit, and we do know that some people are going to pit. We had the hint of it earlier on in the race. We do feel that some are going to pit, and yeah, we'll see what the undercut is like, especially. I'm still fighting away with Audi Ferry here. Obi-Wan still leading the way, still on the super soft, but doing a great job of tyre management. So looking at this, would he sacrifice his track position for a pit stop? Because Dixon, that would just then invite Dixon, Warmid and Miggins to not bother pitting. So if you're Obi-Wan, do you take the risk? You kind of have to be the first to pull the trigger if you're going to do that. He doesn't pit this lap. Dixon goes very deep coming out of the final corner, but maintains his position all the same. We see Miggins coming into the pit lane then. Raffo's also going to come into the pits. So do I. In fact, it looks like everyone's coming in that hasn't already, apart from Surfer and Matt Elwood. Matt Elwood's on the mediums, which probably explains his initial pace. Right, so where does Robusta Hood come out? So back up to P8 for Robus. Haz 91, importantly for Haz, has done a superb effort on his outlap, and he has let Raffo, myself, not Audi Ferry, because Audi Ferry's not pitted yet, but yeah, he's let 2 cars in the pits, so that's a great strategy there by the Red Bull team. Christian Horner will be happy, and he's up 2 positions into P10, with now his job is just to chase down all the cars that are potentially looking to no stop. One of them that I'll be watching with intrigue is Dixon. Now his tyres are really starting to fall off a cliff, and compared to everyone else, yeah, his are really starting to go south. So if he's not pitted yet, he might as well not, because everyone else has and will be now going faster than it is. If he was going to pit, in other words, he should have done it by now. So he's probably just going to try and stretch this out. He does have track position, and that means a lot. His teammate Audi Ferry, though, has done a fantastic job managing his tyres. He's out in 4th, and I dare say he'll catch and pass his teammate very soon. SurferEv up to P5. Again, doing a decent job on tyres. He's on the soft, super softs. But Matt Elwood, star of the show at the minute for me with the mediums, dragging all the performance out of those tyres that he possibly can. The South African really wringing the neck of that WRX today. Robusta Hood then on fresh tyres can get underway with chasing those guys down. As Walmid pits, that is surprising. So this might cost Walmid, well, it will cost Walmid a few positions, but There are a few cars still out on track that haven't pitted, so maybe it's not going to be as damaging as we think for Warmid. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see why he did it, but track position for Warmid was important. He comes out just ahead of Miggins, so comes out just ahead of his teammates. So the two Samsung cars have pitted. Their mission then, with the remaining 13 minutes of the race, is to catch and pass the cars that they were racing before. So Has91 just put his fastest lap of the race in, a 204.0. Had good pace here tonight, did Has. Myself behind him, my fastest lap of 206.6, so yeah, I wasn't anywhere near the pace. And Has91 doing a really stellar job then. Good strategy, good pace. So far doing a good job with the tools at his disposal. So let's flick through anything going on. Obi-Wan then, we're starting to see quite a fair bit of tyre wear on his car, but he's got a ginormous lead, like his lead ahead of Dixon, who's also on absolutely cream tyres. He's 11.5 seconds. His gap to the next car that has fresh tyres is in P6. Robus to Hood, who is... he's miles back, to be brutally honest. So Robus, who successfully manages to catch and pass Warmid. Warmid though, fresh tyres. Now he's got those tyres up to temperature, should be able to mount a little bit of a comeback. Well, we know the Samsung driver likes a little battle, and with Robus he's going to get one. They're going side by side here. Robus on the inside line. A little bit more grip there on the inside where the apex is. Robus just able to carry that little bit more speed through the corner, just keeps his position. Trails SurferEv as well. Surfer then, will he pit? I don't think he will. There's very little point to SurferEv pitting at the minute, but he actually does pit. Commentators curse him for SurferEv, so yeah, he does pit. So that is going to slam him back a few positions, because he's been out on worn tyres for quite a while. Then the team's left him out there, I'm afraid. That does give me a position though, up to P9. Just put my fastest lap of the race in, a 204.0. So matching exactly, pretty much exactly, Has91's fastest lap. So obviously learning from him now. This battle for 5th is still cracking on. Now the intrigue for me, as we just watch Warmid go for the move on Robus to Hood, gets it nicely tidied up the inside. Nice move by Warmid again. He's been the overtaking meister tonight, he has. So the top 4, as Robus to Hood gets him back. Warmid gets him. It's a great little battle between these guys. I was going to say the top 4 then have all no-stopped this so far. They've not pitted, them on quite old tyres. So the last of the current no-stoppers is a Matt Elwood. He's very, very close to getting caught by Warmid, Robus to Hood, Miggins and the Lark. So we might see Matt Elwood drop a few positions, but there's a fair old gap then to Audi Ferry and Dixon. Now we did say Audi Ferry's likely to catch and pass his teammate, not his teammate, sorry, but as you can probably tell by the game tags, these guys know each other out of the game, so even though they're not teammates in the GTTCC, Dixon's absolutely crushed his tyres to smithereens. They're ruined. He's got another 9 minutes to go on them. He has literally torn those things to smithereens. So the gap then to Obi-Wan is ginormous. Obi-Wan's not done too bad on his tyres. Him and Audi Ferry, I'd say Audi Ferry's done the best job on tyres so far. As Audi Ferry gets himself up to 2nd, then can he do anything about Obi-Wan? Well, we'll wait and see, obviously. Warmid then up to 4th, has got himself past Matt Elwood. Miggins is going to be next to mount an attack on the South African. Robus to Hood also in close pursuit as well. Robus though has lost out quite recently. Has91 has been slowly catching these boys as well. His pace has been pretty impressive, so he should be able to get himself in the mix with this battle as well. There's nearly 5 cars in the line. Then I'm just in no man's land at the minute. A couple of seconds either way. not really making too much of an impact, but keeping at it. You never know what might happen later on in the race. Dablo are geezer from down under. P10 for Dablo so far, with SurferEv in 11th on the freshest of fresh tyres, so he could try and catch the Australian up. P Gibbs made a position up ahead of Raffo. Now, an interesting story about how Raffo's race unfolded. This was an error with the PlayStation pit crew where they didn't bring the tyres out in time, so he had to come into the pits again. They did a George Russell at Sakir on him. They basically didn't sort his tyres out on the first pit stop and he had to come in again. It's cost him 40 seconds to do that, and yeah, unfortunately for Raffo, that kind of ended his race right there, and he's not got enough time to really do anything about it. But he's keeping going, so gotta respect that. This is the battle I want to keep an eye on though, as Robust Hood gets himself past Matt Elwood. Now Matt Elwood's got 7 minutes remaining. Unfortunately for Matt, that's enough time really for a couple more cars to try and catch him up, as he's on the medium tyres, and there's a lot of guys on fresher soft compound tyres just trying to approach him now. One of them is Has91, he might go for the move down into turn 1. Has91 does pull out of that slipstream. Is he able to get it tidied up on the brakes? He is. Nice move by Has91. He's now up to P7, passes the South African. Matt Elwood down to 8th. Next on the list for Matt Elwood is myself. And then it's Diablo to go on the attack. Because I've basically had to take it in turns to try and get past Matt Elwood. That's separated this group out a little bit. We do have Walmid now trying to get moves made on Dixon. Dixon with his absolutely battered tyres just not able to successfully defend any of these moves. And if you look at the tyre graphic on the lower left of your screen, those tyres that are fitted to his car practically don't exist right now. He'll have no front end grip. And as you can see, it's just costing him absolutely acres of time. As Miggins on relatively fresh soft tyres, so he's going approximately 4 seconds a lap faster than he is. Just starts to get the chase on. I mean, I'll just give you an example. Down into big banky boy corner where lateral grip's kind of important to good apex speed. Just watch the closing speed here. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a visual representation of just how important tyres are on a race car. As Miggins tries to go around the outside, then the inside of Dixon. Dixon just not really able to put up too much of a fight. His tyres have literally gone. Robust Hood's going to be next to try and catch the Hungarian. Then it'll be Has91. Then Matt Elwood potentially, or Matt will catch him I think, but not as quickly. And then myself, I'm starting to reel Matt Elwood in now to try and get that move made. Diablo isn't really getting chased down too quickly by SurferEv. SurferEv's going a little bit faster though. And P Gibb and GT Raffo, whose races were kind of over before they even began, unfortunately. Still squandering away near the back then. So Walmid could be on, will be on for catching Audi Ferry. Driver of the race so far for me, Walmid, is absolutely crushed it. Some fantastic overtakes, just generally really good racecraft throughout the entire thing. I haven't really seen him put a foot wrong. Worked with his teammate. I'm sure the Samsung team boss will be very happy with his performance today, as he does go for the move on Audi Ferry. Audi Ferry seemingly doesn't put up too much of a fight against that one happening. Miggins may be able to catch the Hungarian. Has91 has passed Dixon, who's looking at that tyre graphic actually makes me a little bit emotional. To give you an idea, Dixon was front row of the grid in qualifying, wasn't he? Front row of the grid in qualifying, we're doing low 204s, high 203s. His last lap was a 210.2, so that's nearly 6 seconds a lap slower. Yeah, doubt if you could get the track position early and manage your tyres a little bit like Obi-Wan and to a degree Audi Ferry, then the no stop becomes worth it. But I think Dixon just took too much life out of his tyres too early, which obviously is unfortunate, because he did have a great starting position, and we all know that he is capable of stringing a good result together. So myself v Matt Elwood now. I'm going to have to make this one go around the outside. Matt's making me work for this one. Round the outside we go, round the final corner. I should be able to get the slipstream from Dixon up ahead to get that move solidified. But again, just the closing speed. South Dixon unfortunately lost another position. He's probably going to lose another one to Matt Elwood. My job now is just to, with 2 minutes remaining and probably just another lap after this one, is to try and catch Has91 and Robust Hood. Now unfortunately for me, these guys are starting to fight, so they're starting to squabble a little bit now. We are in those stages of the races where you may have been not fighting someone too much in the early stages to get that position, but now the position matters, so you'll see these two start to squabble. That's music to my ears because I can chase them down. So you can see Has91 does go for it down into Big Banky Boy. Good move by Has91, gets that position from Robus. But again, I can start to close them off a little bit. Matt Elwood gets himself past Dixon. Can Diablo get past Dixon? Meanwhile, the sharp end of the grid to start his final lap of the race, Mr. Obi-Wan. Yeah, somewhat of a sensational race for the digital car culture driver. He's absolutely dominated this one. Lights to flag. Great performance so far from Obi-Wan. You know, I've been an admirer of his work for a while anyway, but personally, and this is absolutely no disrespect to Obi-Wan, but my driver of the day, just after watching this replay, has to be Walmid. He's had to work harder for it, I think, in my opinion. Not that Obi-Wan, not taking anything away from Obi-Wan, but he's had a lot of work on his hands today, and he's dealt with it exceptionally. Audi Ferry, great performance so far from the Hungarian. His first outing in Elite 2. We've got Miggins in 4th, Robust Hood 5th, Has91 6th, myself in 7th. I am catching them though. Then you've got Matt Elwood in 8th, fighting away with Diablo. Diablo might be able to get this position coming down into turn 4. I don't think he's quite going to be able to get it made. Oh, Diablo goes off to try it. That might actually give Dixon the position back. SurferEv 11th, P-Gib and Raffo have actually finished the race now. Has91 and Robus still kicking each other's heads in. Now you can see how much this is enabling me just to close the gap now. I am now in the slipstream. So I'm pulling time like you wouldn't believe on these boys. Purely because they're fighting. As Robust Hood slides one up the inside of Has91. Does Has get the cutback made? No, he doesn't. Myself in P7 at the minute, but again, watching this squabble between these two. Looks like it's going to continue into the S's. We'll just keep an eye on this fight, then we'll rewind to watch everyone come across the line. Essentially mug both of them off here and get move up to P5. Let's just jump on board and have a look at this. I have submitted this as an overtake for this week's competition, but this was purely an opportunistic move because the two boys ahead were fighting, and just because of defensive positioning and stuff, they ended up going just a little bit wide. So there's a gap. just able to sling my car up the inside then. Has 91, who gets a great move here on Wheelbase, just gets an absolutely beautiful exit through the final corner. And has 91 then just absolutely yeets it through the inside, and he's neck and neck with me coming over the line. But let's rewind the action just a couple of seconds, and we'll just give credit where credit's due to the drivers as they come across the line. So lights to flag victory for Digital Car Culture's TRG Obi-Wan. A fantastic result, and maximum points for him from this one. Walmid, fantastic drive from Walmid, podium position on his first race this season. Audi Ferry in his first race as a promoted Elite 1 driver grabs a podium. Miggins in 4th, myself in 5th with Has91 in 6th, Robus in 7th, Matt Elwood in 8th, Diablo 9th, SurferEv 10th, and Dixon is 11th with P. Gibbon Raphael 12th and 13th.